So, oh mate, this is going to be a joke.
Right, so I've got a new golf coach, and today is the first time that I'm actually going to be working with him. Some of you may already know who I'm working with, probably because he's now working with half of the mini tour population of the entire United Kingdom. But this is going to be the first lesson in person, so you're coming along for the entire day. We're starting in Exeter. You've got to drive up to Heythrop Park, and it's a Friday, so this is the moment of truth. 2 hours 59. Right, as you can see, that was not the best drive. It's pretty much pissing it down with rain the whole way. I've been sat down now for like 3.5 hours, so I'm gonna have to get in the changing rooms and get moving and get warmed up properly. But I'm just gonna preface this lesson by saying the reason that I want to start working with Liam, and it's mainly down to the fact that Liam spent a lot of time working with Gary Barter when he was playing. I don't think Liam's really playing any much at all. I think he's now just focusing fully on the coaching. And Gary Barter is an Australian coach who works with Cam Smith, Matt Jones, as well as a number of other really good Aussie players. And Gary's sort of philosophy on coaching is very much, you'll see him doing a lot of drills. And from what I've seen, most of his coaching is to get his players moving in the correct way, but it's not like position based, it's more feels and drills to get you moving in the correct way. And I've always really liked the stuff that I've seen from Gary Barter, and Liam has spent a lot of time working with Gary, so that was the main reason for choosing Liam. Liam's now got a lot of players working with him, so we're going to go meet Liam now, and we're going to find out exactly what this has in store. I'm going to film as much as I can, and yeah, you're going to be coming along for this lesson. It's camera, mate. It's quality. Yeah. New school vlogging, this is. Right, mate, good to see you.
Good to see you, mate.
Firstly, what's the plan for the day?
Plan for the day, might go out, have a little walk for a few holes, have a little look at what window the ball's in. We'll let you warm up first.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a little look, see what we're seeing, and bring it back onto the range, get a bit of work done. Could even go out for another 3 holes out, or might go back out on the course and just hit a couple of shots and just see that it's in that window.
See the result.
In an actual environment that you're going to have to go and play in.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, so nice and easy, mate, really.
Sweet. Obviously, we've done stuff over the last sort of like few weeks in terms of you've had a look and you give me a few
Very
drills.
small,
yeah. I mean, I'm still, it's definitely moving in the right direction, feeling better, but I'm still, as I've always done, like struggling to get on.
From what we've discussed, I'd probably be expecting, mate. Like, we won't have done anywhere near enough to have properly affected it yet. Obviously, today's going to be the first session, really.
Yeah.
And it's just the thing with a lot of these drills, mate. It's like there's such small pieces in them that if they're not being done exactly how I'm asking them to be done or how I want them done, they're probably not quite giving you the full. You'll get a little bit from them, but they're not giving you like the full reaction that we're looking for.
Yeah.
So obviously after today, I'll be able to be more reactive to what I'm seeing as opposed to what I'm being told or what I'm seeing on camera, and we'll be able to then come in, not just make sure we'll tailor the drills more to what we're seeing, but equally we'll make sure they're all done exactly how they're supposed to, so when you go away you're doing them
in the right way.
Little things like the other day, like when you were hitting the smash bag, it's like too heavy.
Yeah.
So it's like it's stopping the golf club, as opposed to I would have it like a third of that weight so that you can hit it, it resists it, but then you still get some form of follow through. It's just little pieces like that that when they're done properly, you will get way more benefit from it. Yeah.
And I'll preface this by saying, obviously you've done stuff with Gary Barter in the past, and a lot of your coaching philosophies from that. Like, so I've always been a massive fan of like Gary's stuff that I've seen.
Gary's a genius.
Like about like drills, getting you like moving correctly by drills. That basically his philosophy.
He changed my golfing career, mate. Like as a ball striker, it's just the first time you met him, it was like, this is just different. It's the first time I'd ever seen that kind of stuff and heard the kind of things that he was talking about. So obviously now I'm going into coaching more full time. My philosophy is obviously it's going to be shaped around what I did as a golfer
and what worked.
But off the back of that as well, then, mate, obviously I've gone through I've always been a lover of golf before a player, and it was like because of that I've always been a bit of an experimenter. If something new comes out, I'll go and try it and see what it's like. But what I found with this stuff was more when you get under the gun, it's like it seems to be the most freeing and the most relatable to allowing your body to move how it wants to. There's a lot less collisions, a lot less manipulation.
You can still be reactive to target rather than position.
Same as any other sport, isn't it? Really, like, and I that's what I'd always struggled with the other kind of techniques that I'd tried or things that I'd seen on YouTube or whatever it is. You know, we all do it. Do you know what I mean? Like even when I was playing on challenge and stuff like that, you're like, hit it poorly, you're on YouTube that night, what can I find to get me through the next day?
Out to shallow it in.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah, all the same stuff. And it's, I think what I found was with this stuff is it allowed me to be more of, I've obviously come from football initially, so it's a very reactive sport, and I really struggled to relate to a lot of the stuff that's being taught, like talking about positions. It's also externally motivated, whereas a lot of the stuff that Gary did with me, it allowed me to kind of get that athlete out that I already had inside of me, and also helped me get out my own way upstairs. It was a lot more feel stuff, which I think is also, you speak to a lot of the best golfers, mate, like particularly on tour, and they're just out there feeling stuff. They're not necessarily out there kind of breaking it down piece by piece, and I think that is what Gaz's stuff really did for me. Obviously then I've had 18 hours with him, and he's definitely shaped my whole golf career. Obviously then I've taken that information and gone and played with it as well, so I've also I know when I've done A and B, what that's done to the ball, the strike. I think that also obviously adds a good bit of value as well, is that I've been out there and stress test this stuff to the highest level. I've stood on first tees when I can't feel my arms, and I know how I've managed to still hit the ball up the middle and stuff like that.
So mate, what we're looking at, just talk me through what you're thinking pre-shot.
Right, so target, obviously wind's off the right. Opens up around the back of that tree. I'm literally just starting this towards the flag. Let the wind drift it if it wants to.
Perfect.
And then, this is going to be a bit of a tight swing, I think. So.
Always good to have a 4-hour drive just before we step on the tee.
Straight at it.
Missed
slightly left, that's good.
I must admit, I'm not sure how great that recording was on the first, to be honest. It was like that. So 1-4,
1-4-8,
playing 1-5-5 probably.
1-5-5,
yeah. So it is a little downhill, but it's pretty strong wind.
1-5-5-9.
Yeah. What club you got?
9-iron.
Yeah.
Then like a little 1-5-5.
Where was that on the face?
Like slight toe.
Yeah.
Slightly off the left.
Yep.
Left green side trap.
Perfect. It's a very toe side, mate, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I hit one more. That feels like what I'm doing a lot. So it's very much like, I've got to swing either, I don't know, not like soft, but I've got to really like calm down my hips going to try and feel like I move in some sort of like a connected fashion so I can keep it on the planet.
Yeah.
But that all is like so, it feels so artificial.
Yeah.
And I can't just stand there and let it go.
Yeah.
Which is not nice.
No.
Yeah, same thing, like a bit toey.
Yeah.
Right, I'll tell you what, mate, Heythrop's looking a bit pure, isn't it, at the moment?
We've got head greenkeeper Paul and his team. Like, we had Clutch here obviously earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
Which just, mate, I'm sure all the lads would agree, it was like still probably one of the best courses we played all year. It was he's got it in great shape. Like last winter, I've never seen it as good through the winter. So it's been really nice, really lucky obviously with the club. Obviously based here now, coaching and stuff as well, so that's really nice, and they've been great with me. The plans that we've seen for here are going to be pretty special, mate.
Yeah?
To be honest, yeah. They just bought Forest of Arden and Dalmahoy,
Okay.
so they're really kind of trying to get into that golf window, mate. And up here the guys are already doing an unbelievable job. Anyway, like you look at what they're doing here, mate. They got like 4 green stuff. You've seen the size of the place.
Yeah, it's huge.
Mate, the facilities, everything about it, like great driving range, courses in great shape all the time.
We'll have to dust off the bats, mate.
Yeah, get out for
Another little vlog.
Oh, mate, 100%.
Next time.
Yeah, next time we'll have a little lesson before we get started, and then we'll come out and have a proper.
Yeah.
We could get a proper knockout.
Let's
get
do
a couple of
that.
others to join us. We'll get
Get Leon and Jack involved.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we'll get a couple of the other boys up there, and we'll have a proper little match.
Yeah, that would be gold, by the way.
That would be pretty funny. I think we'd have a good time, especially the way that I'd probably be hitting it nowadays. But,
yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, quality. So 60 yards,
60
awkward
yards.
yardage, lofted club.
Like if I hit driver, that's a yardage I'm going to have quite a lot. You know.
Yeah.
So
Especially on the courses you're going to be playing in pro-ams and stuff.
exactly, 63 yards here,
Yeah.
and this is like, in order to get low point in a good place, I feel like I have to get the club working like super up and down the line, because I think I get off it and I don't get on it very well.
Yeah.
It's just not a very nice yardage.
No.
Like, I get so like focused on strike, because the strike's so bad that I don't focus on hitting like shots. Like that. I mean, that's
Just right. It's very steep
right
and
shit.
yeah,
It's
it's
heading right.
very.
High handle. That is just.
Here we go then. So you get another ball out, right, and then I almost want you to imagine like if I had my jumper, like there.
Yeah.
Right, hit me that now without hitting my jumper. How would you feel that? You see a difference in the strike straight away? Is that how you want to hit them?
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll get to that on the range.
Yeah, okay. It's funny because like I get scared of getting in here because
You think that's what makes it fat?
yeah.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, mate. The misconceptions of stuff, like, I'll show you. We'll have the wedges sorted in like very quickly. But yeah, that there's like a little insight.
Okay.
But I'll explain to you. But we'll get a proper drill going for the wedges in a minute.
Yeah.
And I think you'll really like it. Right, what we're going to do, we're just going to hit a couple of drills with this, okay?
Yep.
So what I'm going to get you to do, I'm going to get you to hit a couple. Start off with, we won't use a ball. Just going to hit a couple where you're basically back swinging, and you're just going to take that leader up trail arm on the way down like this. And you'll notice as I'm doing it, I'm finishing I'm not dragging my left. So when I take it off, I'm not going like that and hitting the basket.
Yeah.
I'm keeping this connection point here, and then what we'll do, we'll then get you in here and we'll hit a couple like that.
Yeah.
See a difference in the flight and the sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what this is going to get you to do essentially is like, because you're taking this arm off, it'll slow down that like spin.
Mm-hmm.
And what it'll do, it'll get you to almost lean on it a bit more, because you'll want to get the club to the ground the correct way.
Okay.
So
basically, you take
two hands back, and then you're just going to take that trail arm off on the way down. That's it, and then try and feel like as you're doing it. You'll notice every one I was like thumping the ground and I'm sticking that follow through more here. I'm not like finishing all the way up around there. There you go, nice. Then what you do then, hold the finish for me. You see then that structure in the lead arm, how it's more like in front of your chest, and then the club's released fully through there where the club's looking back at me.
Yeah.
So that's essentially saying like you've got no interference of this. So you're not getting that spinning one and pulling out. So that's kind of going to be like a really important structure for you to look at in the future with a wedge. There you go, nice. So just feel like you're cutting it off, so you can throw it in pretty hard, and then there you go, nice.
Yeah.
You'll notice the harder you hit it, the more then you have to use your left side in the braking system.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like a car, mate. If you were driving at 10 mile an hour, you haven't really got to apply the brake very hard. If you were at like 100, you'd have to work quite hard.
Yeah.
And essentially we've got right side's the accelerator, left side's the brake. Most people, due to the fact that you're right-handed, are going to be way more dominant in their trail side and have very little lead side. Lead side tends to be the thing that like allows you to stabilise stuff. So you know that toe strike and and the overdraw. It's going to be that release.
Brake and all accelerator.
All accelerator and overdraw.
Yeah. So what
Sounds
we're
like
going
my golf bits.
yeah. Thing is, mate, like all joking aside, like I remember, when I played that event in DP in 2019, and I made the cut there. Like all I had wrote in my course planner: don't hold the club in your right hand. So everything I was doing was all left-handed. You'll notice as right-handed people, most people won't even notice they do this stuff. They'll have the club in their right hand, they'll be stood there going, oh yeah, that was on TV last night, all right. Whereas like, everything you're doing, your right hand wants to take over. So in the wedges, it's going to like want to pull away, get a bit tilty, a bit stacked on it, and it's going to want to push on the way down, it's going to want to over-accelerate on the way out. Whereas the left side can be more like, push back on it.
It's all like works with body more because it's
yeah. It essentially gives you that, like, people put stuff under their arms.
Yeah.
Essentially gives you that connection for free. It's just because you're using the right energy.
It's funny, this left arm stuff. When I went to South Africa to work with Doug Wood, that's the first thing he got me doing was just left arm only.
Yeah.
Because I was getting the club like in some funky positions,
Yeah.
and it's all like right arm dominated.
Yeah.
As soon as you just get the club with your left arm and take it back, you pretty much can't really.
It just stays on
follows.
play, without interfering with it.
Literally, yeah.
And the reason is basically like, if you get right arm dominant, the right arm wants to pull because it's dominant. It wants to pull. What that does then is that's when you get a lot of this like disconnection in the trail side, and you get a lot of those people that stand the club up, get it a bit across, and then they pull down. Because it's then off, it wants to pull and open on the way down, whereas my left side almost wants to push me off so that then I can use my body to get back onto it, and then I can exit out exactly how I want to. So, like, don't get me wrong, on this drill here, we're not really overthinking about the backswing. The thing with those wedges that's really out is the pull-in transition, so we're just allowing you to feel that release pattern. So now try hit one like that.
So it's
back.
basically like stack into it and then just
There you go.
hold it, yeah?
That's exactly what it is, yeah. So what you're going to feel in that backswing, if we're going to have a dominant swing pull, it's still, the thing is, people often say to me with a wedge, should I still be moving off of it? And it's like, you're not really moving off of it if you actually look at it. A lot of the forces you're generating through what we're doing with the lead side, it actually makes you look more rotational, but you're not. You're focusing more on like lateral motion, because I think the golf swing's become so rotation orientated, whereas like there's three motions. There's rotation, lateral and vertical. It's like lateral's been like demonized, but the thing is, as I'm moving, it's almost lateral, vertical, then the weight of the golf club will pull me into rotation. I don't really have to turn. Then on the way down, I'm moving lateral, vertical, release the club, pulls me through into rotation. Generally, if you find somebody that's turning, in the backswing, they'll get too left-sided.
Yeah.
Anybody on the way through tends to spin out too early. Yeah, so what we're doing essentially is like, I get a lot of comments, funnily enough, from people, like, or messages on Instagram when I do the videos, and they're like, oh, his rotation looks fantastic. Yeah, I've literally just spent 2 hours working somebody lateral. Do you know what I mean? But you get it as a byproduct, mate, because the movement's good. Don't hit it that side. But yeah, so what will happen is, essentially, if I just hit a couple, so if you open up too early, what that does earlier on, I referenced force on the grip, yeah? So if you open up too early, what will happen is the club will rise up. So even when you think of like poor chippers, when they're always going like this and the yippy chippers, it's because they can't find the ground safely. And that's generally coming because they're told to turn. You go this way unless you hold like hell, and that's why you get that one. And they literally, the club's always rising, and that's why they can't find the turn. Whereas you look at all the best chippers, and it's all like they're always finding the ground, like no problem.
Yeah.
So in these wedge shots, what you'll get, if you spin out of it, you'll like thin it, or if you do a worse version of that, you'll top it.
Right.
You might even shank it if you hold on as well. Whereas what I want it to feel like is it's two hands back, and then it's like you're almost leaning on it, like this. So it'll look more. Let me just get the ball in the right place. It'll look more like that. And you'll notice every time I'm hitting those, they're landing in almost the same spot. Yeah, and the strike's nice.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting on the first one to see if you spin. So go to the top for me and start. Then essentially what it's going to feel like to you is almost like that, and then you can start to release the golf club. And this is why it's really important, James, that you do get off, is because you need the space to be able to get your angles down to the ground naturally. If you're on top of it, the problem is you're always going to want to go under because you're getting out of the way of it. Yeah, and that's how we get the flight down. We don't get the flight down through getting stacked on your left side and staying there. You get it through moving into it, which again references what I said earlier about everything's in motion.
Right, so almost like
Here you go.
damp on the left foot.
Yeah, you're going to feel like left shoulder's almost, so your backswing's going to feel a little bit like this, so take it away, you're going to feel more like that,
Okay.
so left shoulder's getting off it a bit more, and then you can move down into it and take that arm off. That's it, nice, that's the way it's going to feel to you. There you go, nice. Good sound.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little.
It's quite nice that one, isn't it? Good for a first effort as well.
Yeah.
And again, let's just let's just get it just off the range.
Okay.
So
So
not
slightly
too
less
far.
speed and
Slightly less speed.
actual left arm.
Yeah. Move off, move in, trail arm. Right. Have another
Too
look.
bad. Still like away
Not
from
bad
the
at all.
body.
That, all that needs like 10% more of it. It's just you can just let it go a bit more through your wrist.
Yeah.
You don't have to hold it because you're in the right place. But what you'll notice straight away, like in regards to the flights from earlier, is they're a lot more down.
Yeah.
They're not
That high
high
speed.
BP. Yeah. You're not getting that looping.
Horrible.
Yeah. I think it was a good wedge players, mate. Like, obviously, a lot of the good coaches, there you go, that's almost the
That's
shot that I was hitting.
Tidy.
Yeah. But what you'll notice is your finishing is like this relationship is very different to what you get when you're
Yeah, I was literally like.
holding for dear life.
Yeah.
Essentially. Yeah. And the thing is, you can make that bucket as like easy or as difficult as you like. Do you know what I mean? If you wanna, you can have it almost there. Then you really have to. There you go.
Oh,
How good's that?
yeah. This moving into this stuff is going to be alien for a while for me. I think.
Yeah, but the thing is, mate, God, you've only got to look at what your backswing was and has been like in spells. Like, how could you move it?
Yeah.
You got nowhere to move, and if you did, you'd be bloody 25 foot ahead of it. Do you know? You'd be like this, and the ball would be back here somewhere. So this is what I mean, mate. Sometimes you just got to bring things back and just ask logical questions. Like, oh yeah, I don't move into it well. And it's like, well, why would you if you've got nowhere to move?
Yeah.
There's a simple answer there, isn't there? But this is again where the problem is when people stop talking about moving around. Like, if you watched you when I'm talking about moving around, you're not going to look like this. You're not going to look like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're going to look pretty centered and normal.
Yeah, you're moving within your.
You are, mate. Yeah. But you're not going like this for sure.
Yeah.
Get in with that body. So, a couple of things that stand out to me massively here is if you look at your pelvis, you'll notice at that point how it's like your lead pelvis is lower than your trail.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had this, like the angle would be down. This goes back to like what I was saying earlier about action reaction. The problem is that's never going to be able to work down and in because it's already gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in transition it's going to ride ahead and under and around.
Uh-huh.
That's what gives this like weaker look to the lower body.
Yeah.
It's also then what puts this behind, and that's
Okay.
where the slingy draw comes from.
Yeah, like-
because you can't match it up.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes from what your lower body's having to do. Then it gets well under,
Well under. Yeah.
and then you're like in trouble from there.
Yeah, 100%.
So now it's like, please save it. If not, I'm just going to wang it.
I've
miles
played
right.
from this position for
Yeah.
for a while. For a
Then
long
you
time.
can't deliver the club how you want. Lead leg doesn't post efficiently enough.
No.
And then you kind
My
of
lower body's always looked very scruffy, and I think it goes back to the long drive days where I was focusing so much on a few things that weren't even correct for long drive or golf.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like
plagued it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So then when we look from face on, a couple of things, like you see where the club's tracing in relation to the ball. So you see how it's like almost on a straight line to the ball for quite a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that to me shows something a bit unnatural. Like if you had your club up against a wall and you moved how you're supposed to, that club would obviously come off the
It'll
wall.
come off the
wouldn't
wall
it?
straight
The only
away.
way you could keep it on the wall is to essentially push your arms away from
Yeah.
you.
So they're disconnecting straight
Yeah,
away.
they're disconnecting straight away, which is kind of shown by how much your left arm comes out. And obviously, if you were talking like what a lot of people like to see, you'd be like, oh, the planes are beautiful here, like lovely lines. To me, like the lead arm's a little high there too, but that's fine. Like I have a preference on that. I like it to be almost across the shoulder line.
Okay.
And obviously, if you don't tilt as much, if your shoulder turn was a little flatter, then that would also flatten down a little bit, which then will get you more depth. Which then, even if you do spin open a bit, it will give you a bit of a safety net.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you kind of pull it behind
This
you.
is the under stuff.
This is the under part. So what you've done is so that your club's not really steep, you've then started getting under to try and get the plane more behind you. Because essentially how it should work from here, like the way I like to see it is just there, the club would be through the forearm, more down, but in the right way, because your right shoulder would be more in front of you, like in my delivery.
Yeah.
Then here, I'd almost expect it to be on your toe line at this point, and then it should cover the ball at this frame.
Yeah.
It's just like, and that's coming from way on the in, which
That's
is then
way
obviously
on the
why
in,
it's, and then look, you just completely lose the face on the way out. Hoodsville. And then that's then why you're struggling a bit. So, but I think it all stems back from, I think if we fix that bit, we'll then be able to fix that piece.
So it's working in like reverse, basically, like with the pelvis.
Yeah, your pelvis is just the wrong way around.
Yeah. So I'm just playing left.
Yeah. But we'll get to it now. So we'll get on a few drills to help that out. So basically, mate, the reason we use a towel is a couple of non-technical reasons. Number one is smash bags, rip loads, and we have to find a decent one, and they're really loud, so we use a towel instead. But the technical reasons behind it are essentially that what I explained to you earlier about accelerator, decelerator. The larger the item, the more your body will brace for impact. So it's like the larger collision, your body will work more efficiently in your lead side without you even having to think about it. So it's like, why would I do reps on the towel? Because I get all of that stuff for free. I don't even have to think about it. Yeah, so that's why we use the towel and why we do a lot of drilling. And then equally, we can start blending towel ball. Then we take the towel away and it's like practice swing ball. Then when you get out there, you've got the same rhythm, same timing. Do you know what I mean? It becomes almost like you're essentially practicing exactly how you're going to be on the golf course, which becomes really important when you get under pressure. Do you know what I mean? Like that timing of it. Like one of the things they said about Tiger, if you timed him, his rhythm, it's all the same. Yeah. Almost every time, his routine. And that's what we're creating in here too. So that's why I love it. And basically, like I said, it just gets that lead side dominance, so it's going to be great for you. So obviously at the moment, we're seeing a lot of like left side dropping down, then it fires under and around. That's going to affect essentially how you get the club to the ground. So when I spoke to you about the wedges, which we've obviously already done now, that kind of movement on the way in, I like to get it to the ground more through my like geometry on the way in. So like if I get under, obviously that's always going to create that under push. The club's always wanting to rise. I just want you to essentially be able to rock up, whether you've hung over, whether you feel like crap or whether you feel amazing, and be able to deliver the club the same way every time. You might just lose 5 yards because you feel a bit weaker. I don't want you to turn up and feel like crap and all of a sudden it's like all over the place. So that's going to come from like your ability to get the club the ground to the right way, the right way. So that's going to come from essentially if we can keep this more up and this more up, then we can move into that angle. And this is what I was saying earlier about everything's in motion. Do you know what I mean? Like people go, oh well, I need to move into my left side, so they just go left, and then they stay in it, and it becomes a problem.
That makes sense. That explains like the feeling that I have always in the golf swing as well. Like it just feels like I can't go this way because I'm like I've lost my pelvis so early, and then I'm like, oh shit, so then I back up out of it.
That's exactly. And then the arms, then it's like, well, hopefully I'll get this right.
And the arms just got to somehow get in the middle.
Somehow figure out, let's try and get it back online somewhere. If you feel like crap, you're not going to time it as well. When you get under high stress, you don't want to be relying on your hands and arms. No. Do you know what I mean? Because then all of a sudden you've got a window at 50 left and 50 right. Whereas if you're literally delivering the club, whether you feel nervous, good or ill, if you're delivering the club like this every time, like realistically watching this window, it's not going to be big, is it? It's going to be a little push and a bit of an overdraw.
Just club face.
Exactly, mate, which generally the club face, that's another thing. Like club face stability doesn't come through holding it. It comes through releasing it into the ground. So like shaft lean, everybody, like the amount of people that are like, oh, I don't get enough shaft lean, so what do? Like this. But again, in motion, it's held like crazy here, but then your body's going, hang on a minute, got to get rid of that. So then they always lose it at the end anyway. Whereas like shaft lean, if I'm throwing it into the ground, that's essentially what creates this lovely like line here. It's that is what gets the shaft lean. Do you know, it's releasing the golf club. And again, you bring that back to where you are. If you're here, and then I ask you to release it, you're going to win it 150 yards there.
First tee today.
Exactly. Whereas like, if you're kind of in here, you've now got all this energy that you've created as well. Because the geometry's down, I've got all this energy in my lead foot that I can then use to push up and clear the room
for that release. Do you know what I mean? So it all just blends correctly together. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do a couple of things now to help your pelvis.
Yep.
So even just a basic step drill would probably do that for you. I'm going to see how good you move on those, just as a tester. And then what we'll do, we'll move it into something. So obviously we've already talked about left side, right side. So the reason I asked you to do left arm, back, two-hand hit was essentially because a lot of left arm stuff tends to keep height better, because you're going to do very well because of the weight of the golf club to go like this if you've only got your left hand on it. Yeah, you're going to want to feel more like up and slingy.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel a bit more like this way. And what I'll do is like a little variation of that for you. And this is what I was saying to you about when people go on the Instagram, a lot of the drills look the same. So if I was doing this drill, I would start with it straight behind the towel. I'd take it back and I'd hit. But for somebody like you that's trying to stay taller, if you start with it out here, you can then get that sling from your left side a bit better, and that'll keep you up more so then you can go in. So there's little bits like that that we'll add in for you personally. But if to start off with, all I want you to do is just a step off drill and hit the towel. Okay, so you're only going to take a step to your trail side. I'll just quickly do one. So you're going to take a step to this side. You're not going to step back in. The reason being is I want you to work more this way for longer. So if I only step you off it, you've then got to move that way for longer to get back to it. Whereas if you step in, sometimes when people step, the reason I'm not doing it for you is a lot of people when they step forwards also spin a bit. So when they step back in, they tend to go a bit that way. I don't want that for you. So we're going to go like this. So we're going to go step off and hit. Create some bumps.
Sweet. Let's do it.
That all explained all right, yeah?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
that's great.
Get everything.
That's great. Right, so you start off as in the towel's
Normal step,
the towel's ball.
Ball, back of the towel would be ball, yeah.
Back of the towel.
Yeah, so some people, like a couple of people when they do these things, some people will start narrow so that they stretch to normal width.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want it to go wider.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? The reason is I want to pull that pelvis apart.
And you want me to start here?
No, we'll start it just two-handed, just so that you can get a feel for this little feel, and then what we'll do is we'll blend the one-handed in a sec.
Okay.
So there. Awesome. Right, do that for me again. I'm going to come and stand by the camera and get another little video. So I want to see if just stepping off keeps that height for you.
Sure.
Right, are you ready?
Yep.
So away you go. So just step off. Amazing.
There's some changes there already just from that, which we won't show you. We'll show you in a second, right? After we do this bit, yeah.
Because like the movements, it's moved in the direction we want it. This bit will add on the two little pieces that will make it almost exactly what we said over there. Okay, so all we're going to do now, same step, but you're going to do the backswing, left hand only, and you're going to pop it on. Okay, so to stop it obviously going out in front, like we're going to start with it for you a little bit more out here. The reason is that gives us a bit more leverage. It'll help you pull from your left or push from your left side more as opposed to pull from your right. Just giving yourself that extra foot will help you do that. And there's ways we can show you how to do that when there's not a towel there or whatever, but you generally don't need to do it in any different way to this. So what you're going to do, you're going to start with the club just outside your left foot. You're going to do the same step, no step in, and you're going to hit it exactly the same, okay? One thing that's going to be really interesting, I don't know whether to tell you this bit or not, so you can get it wrong so I can show you. But basically what you see with a lot of people in this is if you don't tell them when to put the hand on, when you're right side dominant, they'll go like this, they'll go, and they grab it really early. Like they feel like they're putting it on here and they're putting it on at like knee height, and what that's showing you is how much it wants to take over. So what I'll say to you is I want you to put your hand on almost at shoulder height. You're probably going to put it on earlier, but if closer we can get to this, the taller you'll stay.
Right.
And equally the more you'll want to throw that club back and use your left side. So you're going to start with it out here, you're going to step, pop it on late, and then hit.
And bash.
And then bosh. And what we can start to do then, James, is like, you know that first drill? Because this on a golf ball is really high skill. Like, you know, to go one hand back, two hand hit, it's not easy. Even I've been doing it for years, and even I sometimes like still mess this one up. So what we'll do is we'll do this, look at it, then we'll go into the two hand back on a ball. Okay. See what it does. Do you know what I mean? And then just get the ball in the window and the strike route.
Finish with a bit of lefty ball. Yeah.
There you go. Well, yeah, I might let
Come on.
I might let you have a go. Just don't want you to hurt yourself. Right, so left hand back only. So it's same step. Yeah, you're going to start with it. So it's literally going to feel like it's like step first, then sling. That's it. There you go. And I hope everybody can see that as well, because the difference, you know, when you just did it properly, it just looks right.
So almost like stepping whilst the club's going back.
Yeah, so you start with the club out in front, so you're not going to create... There you go, you're going to start it out there. You're not going to leverage it forwards. There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, so start with the club out in front. Right, are you ready?
Yeah.
So step and fling it back on. Nice. And that is how we complete golf. Difference.
Okay, let's get this on. Let's get this on camera.
Right.
Let's go in front of this thing again.
And that is how we do it. So, oh mate, this is going to be a joke. Right, you ready?
Yeah.
So club out front to leverage it. Right, step off. So that's creating your lateral phase. Then you get that leverage in the club. You load in the club head better.
Mm-hmm.
Then you pop your hand on.
I
Zero
do pop it
loss
on
of
early as well.
pelvis. Look at that.
Wow.
So that's 0 loss now. So then on the way in, you can move down.
Oh my days.
You're welcome.
Wow.
How good's that? And then you can start to use that energy. So what you've done now is you created all that energy in your left foot.
Jesus.
Then you can start to push up. But also what you'll realise is look at where your right shoulder is. You're not stuck.
Yeah.
So it's more open, if anything.
Yeah.
But you feel more closed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So then you can release the club properly, line it up perfectly on your left shot, on your left leg. Like that's as good of a geometry you're going to find, isn't it? Then you can just pull up, 0 flip.
That's so different.
And then finish there. So if you watch that in full speed.
That left knee like planting outwards.
Yeah.
Fling it back on.
We'll do it from down the line as well, so you can see the difference. I remember what I said about like shoulders being a little flatter.
Yeah.
And then the arm, so that's
And
just
the arm
safe.
following.
It's just safe now. Because from there, even if you turn open
Oh wow.
and then look at the release,
Yeah, that's so much better.
yeah, you're doing it in such a different manner to what you've done it before. Just money, isn't it? Had the tail have not caught on. Even like how much longer that left arm is on the way out.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when that left arm gets longer, you'll release it more through the wrist, which is what gets it to the ground. You know, I was talking about hitting the ground.
Staying in posture so much longer as well. Like on the way through.
Well, yeah, you would do because you're getting out of
So
it
not,
different.
yeah, I'm not.
You're not backing up.
Jump up
Yeah,
out
it's
of
like
it.
you're not having to get out of it. You can just stay in through it, and that's what I'm saying about getting to the ground safely.
That looks,
Like the thing that will get it a little bit more in front on that bit will just be if your left arm was a little more on. Like you know, I was saying earlier about leaning into your lead arm a bit more. If that had happened a bit more there, that's probably the only frame that for me that's a little from the inside. So you'd still draw it, but it wouldn't be toey and it wouldn't be overdraws.
Just be
It
push
would
draws.
just be push draws. Yeah.
right. Ready.
Right, so what we're going to do, I'll hit one first. Right, what we're going to do, just going to go in, you're going to do your towel drill, but I want you to do it two-handed because I want you to replicate what we're about to put on the ball. Okay. Alright, so if you want on the towel, you can still start with it out here. I want you to step, hit the towel, walk in, step. Just let me give you a practice for it, so step up for me. So just do the back swing. More up,
Okay.
more up and up. Don't lean in there, there you go. So
Step, stay high.
step, stay high, hit the towel, money into the golf ball. Just going to step off one and then hit it. That was nice. Completed it. First go. How was that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a good start point for you in regards to drill on the ball. It's not very often I let guys go to a ball straight away. But
That was pure as well.
yeah, it's money. Right out the middle. Well, it's got more of a chance, isn't it? But when you're like that.
It does feel like I'm actually. You know, you were saying earlier about like just allowing the natural like athlete side out.
Well, you've clearly got it. You're obviously a strong lad. Do you know what I mean? With the long drive stuff. So it's not like you don't have the. It's not like you don't have the like what you need to be able to do those things. Do you know what I mean? It's just the fact that you're within your motion. You're not allowing that to come out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, no chance.
Same again.
Yeah. Whole golf swing essentially at the minute is a reaction, isn't it? It's a compensation.
Yeah.
That's what your golf swing is at the moment. It's like, oh no, need to get out of the way. And then, oh no, it's going to go right, chase it.
Yeah.
That's essentially what your brain's saying without you knowing it consciously. Whereas like you move off it, it's going, oh, that's nice, move into that.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm angled down, oh, I can just throw it into the ground now. Golden.
Does make sense.
Yeah. So
Right.
step off, keep your height, give it a whack. Awesome. Into the ball, step off, let it go. Nice. And then, you know I said to you obviously like about that delivery position,
Yeah.
that's where it's like a 5 yard draw. So you got to think the wind's off the right as well.
Mhm. Yeah, it's barely moving, isn't it?
And the thing is, what you'll notice as you're doing it, the start window is just going to be money every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you're going to do very well within that motion to start the ball left. Which, let's be honest, as a golfer, you're not hooking it 60 yards, mate. You're starting at 30 and then drawing it, which is then why it gets into trouble.
Yeah.
If you were starting at your window every time, you're going to do well to move a ball more than 30 yards, mate. And if you put that then into decade purposes, you've got 30 yards either side. So
Yeah.
Somebody is as high speed as you, like if you look through all your videos, your miss is always going to be the way you were moving at that speed. It's always going to be off wide. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like in this motion, it just ain't going to be. It's just not going to be. So let's do a couple more.
Same thing.
Yeah, a little step off, up, good. Money. Right into the ball for me. Little step off, and then. There we go.
It's like 3 as
Three
close to the
yards.
middle as you can get.
Yeah, and they're like what, 3-4 yard draws?
Yeah.
Which is tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a tight ball fly. Thing is, mate, you've got the speed.
And just
in
get
there.
out. It actually, the nice thing is you just get out your own way and just hit
You
the
know
goal
that
shot.
step off.
Yeah.
I know people that have legitimately hit it that good doing that they're like,
Play
I'm just gonna play with it.
Yeah.
So have you heard? There's a girl on the LPGA tour. She won her first LET event. A ladies European tour event in Australia. Doing that. Little step off.
That's actually a joke, isn't it?
So obviously now we've got like the towel, and then we're now on a ball. So that's like the first phase. The second phase is then going to be how do we take the towel out, and then the third phase is going to be how do we do it on a ball without stepping, essentially. So what we're going to do, the next phase is obviously take the towel out, and the way we're going to do that is we're still building in this tempo always, like ball. So practice ball, because that's what we do when we're on the golf course. That's what we're building up. So we take that away. And what we're going to do, we're just going to do the exact same feels, and you'll notice that I hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That becomes a really, really important part of it, because if my shoulder alignment gets open and under like yours does, and I put that on the ground, if I swing at the ground from here, you'll notice I get that horrible arm feel that you get when you can't hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If I go the other way and put it on the ground, I don't even have to try hard, I can make contact. So
Yeah.
that's giving you the divot feedback in the practice swing, is essentially giving you the confidence of I'm not open to it. Because if you can't hit the ground, you know you're too open.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, you know you're good. So again, you're filtering your brain, you're filling your brain, with like positive things just before you go to hit. So then what we do, we then go into, instead of it being towel ball, we go into step, divot, walk in, step in here. There we go, I got one for you there.
There you go.
Little step in here. Got one. We got one. It's back. Might start playing again. Little practice swing. So step off and divot. There you go. Beautiful. Into the ball.
And then just
Little
hit.
step off. No, go little step off still on. So this is like this is the first thing. So what you're going to notice, mate, every time. Start window's a joke, and it's hardly moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that draws becomes super tight. doesn't it?
Extremely neutral, isn't it?
Yeah, it's extremely neutral. And this is what I mean. People look at it and they go, oh, but what's he going to do with that? What's he going to do with this? And it's like, well, it's so neutral, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. You just change it. The thing is, it's so much nicer to move a golf ball via changing your setup than it is having to swing it different to do that shape. Like, I literally just move, I just change my setup and then I hit a release fade. I don't hit a held fade.
So it's the same motion.
Same golf
just-
swing, you just change your setup a little bit. I could even show you that. Do you know what I mean? That's how good this is, like the ball striking. I could probably show you that today when you get it. So let's do another one of those. So this is like your little build up. This is essentially your pre-shot routine, mate. You know, when you're on the court. There you go. Walk in. Same thing, little step on. Get that feel.
It's a lot of speed there as well.
So much.
Like, that's the scary thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be actually producing more power now.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to redo the distances.
And that's
Get the clubs tee
that's
lofted
the
a bit.
problem. Just put on price and just jack them to
Exactly.
210.
Yeah. Right, little practice feel. Good. Nice. Right, into the ball, same thing, little step off, get that nice feel. There you go. See, as soon as you do it right, mate, that start window
Just goes
shows.
right.
It just it moves into the window it should be.
Yeah.
It never
That's
starts
like-
creeping left.
I quite like that short
It's nice.
short follow through. Like
Yeah,
just
but
there.
the reason it's not short because you've shortened it. It's short because everything's working how it should. Do you know what I mean? It's all working. Everything has an appropriate travel, James. So like the arm should move a certain distance, the torso, the hips, the legs, everything should move as much as it should or shouldn't. Generally, if something isn't moving enough, something else will move too much to compensate for it. And that's essentially what you start seeing with your over rotation and stuff. Because the club's not doing enough, or because your right arm's dragging, because you're not getting enough of that push, something else has to work. So you start using your pelvis a bit more, and that's why it drops. And do you know what I mean? Whereas like when you get all of that like awareness of the weight of the club, all of a sudden all this stays, if anything, up like almost to perfection.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just having an awareness of everything that's around you, really.
Weird. I'm actually feeling like balance for the first time ever as well.
Yeah.
Like my balance always, and it's no wonder. Like getting out of it, getting in, like
Well, equally,
How
I
you gonna
think
s-
like the heaviest, like that club head's the thing that's swinging it the fastest. If that's working opposite direction to what
it's
you
literally going that way, and I'm going
yeah,
that way.
of course you're going to feel unbalanced because
Yeah.
it's pulling you in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like when you're moving in like that, it's all very natural. There you go, beautiful, easy, mate. So then when you get on a golf ball now, how do we do it without stepping? Yeah. So your practice swing's always going to be stepping.
Okay.
Always. Yeah.
Practice
Because there's no
swing's
reason not to.
still-
Practice swing's still that. Right. When you get over the golf ball now, what I want you to have an awareness of, like when you're stepping, it's not just like what's stepping through the ground. So obviously, yes, I'm stepping off it this way, but what also moves quite drastically as I do that is my sternum. So essentially, like what a lot of the tour players, like particularly, we've been working a lot with this with Brandon. It was one of the big changes that we made. Is making sure that he does get off it still with the upper body. It's not about really what your legs are doing. Because a lot of people, when you tell them to shift weight like into their right foot, they'll go, whoop, and then they end up in the spine tilt with a loss of pelvis anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not about that. It's essentially about like this pushing force from my left arm. And what that is then is it basically is my left shoulder almost pushes more over my right foot. That's then what creates the space to be able to move into up here. Because the thing that's moving in, it's not even this really. It's more like I'm moving in with this. It's creating space for your chest to be able to move. There you go. And then you don't get stuck that way.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Then you
Okay.
can get the geometry a bit more natural. So just make me a backswing without a step. And what I want it to feel is more that. So do it again for me. Do a full backswing and I'll just nudge you. There you go. That's essentially what you're going to feel more like.
Okay.
Get off.
And then go from there.
Get off
See
and hit.
what happens.
Yes. What should happen is the first couple of strikes, if you don't react 100%, should be a little skinny. Yeah, a little skinny. Or it'll feel what you'll say thin, but it might become your, or you're just rushing. Or just do that. So essentially what you're starting to create there, mate, is like the time and effort. A good player, if you put them over here, isn't going to go like that.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody tells me. Yeah. If any good player goes this way, they're going to go like that. So what you've done there by getting that shoulder more over here, you've created that like stretch that keeps your left arm longer, and then you're going to want to react more that way. Okay. Which then is why the window is just absolute perfection, isn't it really? So again, left shoulder off. Right. See you next week.
That's actually so pure. Jesus.
Good, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. And that's the whole process in an hour and a half, or an hour, whatever it took us. That's like going way more than what you do in a normal lesson. Do you know what I mean? A lot of lessons, sometimes you might...
What did you just say then, just for the guys at home? Just as in like, so practice and then taking it to the course, obviously like all the right order and
Yeah,
doing drills.
it's the right order. It's the drills done the correct way. Like the big thing that I see a lot when people go to me, I'll get messages regularly on Instagram now, and they're like, Liam, I tried this drill, but it hasn't worked. And you're like, well, send me a video of it. They send you a video, and you're like, well, I'm not surprised. Like you're doing, there's all these things within them that are really important, and obviously, like in TGN, like that's why I've done the 10-minute explanations of every drill that I have in my catalogue. And the reason is essentially is that I must go through them 20 times like on each video just to make sure people have got every single little bit of them, because they all have to be done properly. You can't just go out there and go, yeah, I'm doing those step drills. But I can hear people message me and they go, I've been doing the towel drill, and I'm like, which one? There's like 100 of them. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh no, the one on the towel. I'm like, yeah, they're all done on the towel. Do you know what I mean? So it's just essentially, mate, about like piece after piece. Do you know what I mean? Layering them up, and like you there, like there's little things in that.
on the motion. So as soon as you got off a towel, you start over accelerating the arms a little bit. So it's just making sure every drill is done exactly how it's designed to be done, and then obviously progressing it then from towel to practice swing to golf ball, and then
so focus on the drills.
Focus on the drills.
I mean, wow, that was quite something. I was expecting good things today, but honestly, that went really, really well. Bloody hell. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff there I have now to work with, those drills. So now it's a case of like just taking this and just working on it, and hopefully we can go to South Africa before Christmas for a tournament stint, and then Sunshine Q School next year. But I feel like this is just like the start, and I'm really looking forward to working on this now. That was really good. I hope you got a fair bit of value from that today. And that was a lot longer video than normal, but hopefully sort of like that kept you engaged just from the information. And that's exactly how I want the vlog to be. Just really delving into like getting better, taking you along for the ride. So let me know what you thought about this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got to go back to Exeter, and we'll continue this in the vlog. Exciting times.